Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to a trio of videos from a weekend way back when, I can't remember when. But it was a weekend when it didn't matter what I did, everything went wrong. You know, not just having those games where you do amazingly well, but your team sucks and so you lose. I mean, you know, those games where it doesn't matter what you do, RNG says, nope, not gonna happen, you're going to bounce, miss, run straight into a guy who ammo racks you. You know, you just couldn't make anything work. So, in the end, I decided to platoon up with some guys in the clan over this weekend on the basis that we were all having a terrible time. And so at the very least we could have a terrible time together and at least find it amusing, if nothing else. So, we are in a platoon of E-25s. This is a tank that I wanted to buy for a long time because it looked an awful lot of fun. This is a Tier 7 premium German tank destroyer, by the way. And I eventually got around to getting it just in time, as it was actually removed from the gift shop, because Tier 7 games were getting a little bit frantic with all these little things running around. Now, you might wonder what the hell we're doing. We are occupying 3 of the top tier slots on our team. As a result, our team doesn't have any top tier heavy tanks or anything like that. They are relying on tank destroyers. So, certainly my logic was, if we rush up to this area, we can, at the very least, although we don't have any armour, throw out hilarious DPM into the face of anyone that turns up and shred them. That is the plan. Now, this game, really it's about Craig. So I'm platooned up with both Craig, who you've seen in previous videos, and Sprocket Man, who you probably haven't. And this is really going to be about something that happens towards the end. Now, E-25 gets awesome accuracy, hello weak spot, I'm just going to keep plugging shots into that tumour on the top of your tank. 12T puts a shot into me, so I pull back just a tad. And E-25, AMX 12T, I don't know where their heavy tanks are, there is an AMX M445 up here as well. Sprocket Man's moving forward to deal with this E-25, I'm going to try and give him a hand, there's a 12T here as well. Swing round, put a shot into the 12T, and then there's this AMX, and I have shots into his weak points. That one, alas, bounces. And the accuracy on the E-25 is sublime, making up for the slightly dubious penetration. I mean, this is the same, basically the same 75mm L70 gun that you get on a bunch of Tier 5s and 6s, and we kill that AMX. Sprocket Man, alas, gets taken down by the 12T. And I start trying to ply shots into that E-25, but I don't have the gun depression to really do it. Craig polishes off that Panzer IV, and finally the AMX M4 and an M6 make it into the fray. Hello M6, so I'm just going to put shots into him. Yep, we're just pulling back a little bit. And, oh god, running out of health here, which is a bit of a problem. And then I get taken out by artillery. Oh. So I am now dead. Sprocket Man is now dead. We've lost one of our artillery. This is not looking particularly good. The scoreline is 3-6. So, all our hopes rest on the rest of the team, and our platoon hopes rest on Craig's shoulders. Thus far, I think I picked up a kill. And Craig has picked up a kill. And I'm just flicking around, seeing what other people are doing. Eventually I'm going to jump over Craig's shoulder, because Craig has decided that screw fighting for the hill. I'm in a tiny little tank destroyer that weighs nothing, has no armour, but is very, very fast. And so Craig's decided he's going to pretend he's a light tank for the day, and going to go and play havoc with the enemy artillery. Speaking of which, hey look, it's an AMX F13 F3, French artillery piece. Hello! Craig puts him out of his misery. And just continues onward. Ooh, griller. Kill it. One shot. He'll reload the next shot in like now. And kills the griller. Kill number 3. Tiger P is over here, but Craig doesn't want to take on a Tiger P on his own. That's a terrible idea. So he doesn't. Ooh, another griller. Ah, come on, 3 artillery kills. That would be a Pascucci's. There's one shot, and that's the guy who killed me. Craig avenges my death, and picks himself up a Pascucci's medal into the bargain, which is nice. Oh no, enemy E-25 spotted. And for some reason I'm looking over Craig's shoulder at the time, at the back. So, enemy E-25, Craig puts in one shot, E-25 misses his shot, and Craig polishes him off for kill number 5. Alas, they are capping the base. This is an encounter game, of course. And, ooh, Cromwell is engaging these fellows. Craig's trying to find a shot on someone, and there we go. He puts a shot into the Tiger P and then pulls back. If he can finish off that 12T, that would be nice. But the Tiger P is going to be a problem. Tiger P kills the Cromwell. Craig barrels over, executes the 12T, avenging Sprocket Man's death. Craig has now avenged the deaths of both of his platoon mates, and is desperately running away from that Tiger P. There's also, to make life worse, a Type 58 over there too. There's only him and a T-34-85 remaining, and in the end, the AMX M445, who we were fighting on the hill, finally puts an end to Craig's heroic avenging rampage. So, really, that's what this game was about. Craig successfully avenging all of our deaths and going on a little murderous killing spree before finally being put out of his misery. I found that terribly amusing, and despite the fact that, you know, we were all dead, watching him, myself and Sprocket were giggling like idiots. Just watching him go around picking up first a Pascucci's medal, then a Top Gun, and our T-34-85 is, yes that's right ladies and gentlemen, AFK. Hurrah! All praise the mighty T-34-85. And he's just going to be picked apart by the enemy team. Wonder who's going to pick up the kill. Maybe the Type 58's going to get it in? I don't know. I honestly don't remember. Maybe it'll just be the aim. Oh no, now he returns, or maybe he's a bot. I honestly don't know. Now he's dead. Alas, that was a defeat. But, you know, this game was in there, as I say, for Craig's hilarious little rampage of death. So, yeah, warning, just because these games were the highlight of our gaming session, does not necessarily mean they're going to be wins. So, take a look at the post-battle results, and then we'll move on to game number 2. Here we go with game number 2. Once again, I'm platooned up with Craig and Sprocket Man. And once again, we're in tank destroyers, but we've upped it a tier this time. We're all in the ISU 152 tier 8 Soviet tank destroyer with that ridiculously unreliable BL-10 152mm gun. But instead of being top tier this time, we are at the bottom of the feeding pool. So this could be a little bit tricky. This is a regular game here on Karelia? Yeah, Karelia. So we're just pondering what to do. And I don't know. I have a jousting match with Craig there. So we eventually decide that instead of going up the valley or providing cover for the valley, we are going to go down the usually more lightly defended left flank. So down this way. And despite the fact that we are bottom tier, and therefore, you know, our 1010 hit points are basically nothing, and we're in a tier 10 game, we have a big enough gun to still be able to do an awful lot of damage. For those that are not familiar with it, with its regular armor piercing shells, the BL-10 gets 750 average damage. Yes, that's 750 at tier 8, and 286mm of average penetration, which means that I don't bother with premium rounds, because I have almost 300mm of penetration with my regular AP. And the premium rounds aren't actually that much of an upgrade. Your pen goes up to about 330. So, we are just trying to get into a position from which we can provide supporting fire for people. Now, regular watchers of this stream might be aware that I don't actually like the ISU 152. So I wasn't exactly expecting good things from this match. But we shall see. So, there's a Batchat who's been spotted off away in the distance. And our team is, you know, the heavy tanks are ploughing through the corridor, as one would expect. So I don't just want to sit on my laurels and do nothing here. You know, we want to move up, and ooh, there's an E-100 who's also been spotted in the middle of the map, which is a very, let's go with, unorthodox position for an E-100 to take. Type 59 over to the right-hand side too. Why is there a Type 59 in this game? Who's he platooned up with? KV4. Well, okay. He's platooned up with another Tier 8. I mean, the Type 59 doesn't gets preferential matchmaking where the KV4 does not, so it's not an ideal platoon, but it depends what you've got available, I guess. So, Batchat over here. Ooh, gets absolutely blitzed by our artillery and is dead. And he's quite angry about it. Well, sorry mate, c'est la vie. And there's the Type 59. There's probably a rock between me and him. Yeah, hey look, rock. Yag Tiger and a Tiger 2. Ooh, sit still Tiger 2. Now this gun takes forever to aim and is not especially accurate, but when it works, oh boy it works. Now you may have just noticed that alas, Craig got taken out by the Tiger 2 in question, so at least I was able to put a shot into that Tiger 2, and the Tiger 2 does actually eventually pay for it with his life. So I was able to avenge Craig. And this is the thing, when you're playing Tier 8 tank destroyers in a Tier 10 game, you have 1010 hit points, which is nothing. It's, from some of these guys, 1-2 shots, you know. So you do have to be very careful. And the Batchat is continuing to complain and moan and whinge in chat. Batchat has no armour. You got artilleried, you got unlucky, it happens, deal. I'm not trying to say that I think artillery is perfect, I certainly don't, but just stop complaining about it. Anyway, our top tier heavy tanks have done a sterling job and been completely murdered in the valley. So I'm trying to set myself up in a position from which I can get shots onto them as they emerge from the valley. Now the problem here is that while those guys have been spotted, the E-25 and whoever else that is, while they've been spotted, I can't actually render them, which is a bit of an issue. However, that E-75 I can render, and so we'll see if we can put some shots into him. There's a bit of, you know, hillock in the way. Sprocket has pushed further up toward the enemy base, so he's going to be getting shots, hopefully, on that Yag Tiger. There's also an E-100 up here, who is above our IS-3, and our IS-3 is in a lot of trouble and needs some assistance if I can provide it. E-100 turns side on, and I get a damage roll of 833 through the side of his turret, which is going to leave that E-100 feeling a little bit sour. IS-3 is yelling for help, and I'm saying, yep, dude, I'm trying to help you, but I am currently reloading. And I'm aiming, and there we go, another 801. That was 2 above average damage rolls, which is nice. Can the IS-3 put in a shot? Looks like the guy's face hugging him, so he may not be able to. So if I can put in one more shot, I can kill the E-100 and save our IS-3, which will be nice. And of course, that one hits presumably a rock. But Yag Tiger comes to the rescue and takes out that E-100, and our IS-3 now has to deal with the E-75, who hopefully is going to get a surgical injection of butt love from our Yag Tiger. I take that shot, but it was very unlikely to do anything. And now our team is losing 9 kills to 10, as Sprocket Man takes out the enemy Yag Tiger. I get spotted, alas, which is rather suboptimal. There's the IS-4. You could argue I perhaps should be backing off here. Aim for the lower plate, and it just goes into the tracks. I really shouldn't have just sat there and let the IS-4 shoot me. That was dumb. And you can see in that one shot, I lost over half my health. And the enemy are capping our base. This is looking a little bit dubious. The guys who went with Sprocket Man to attack the enemy base, alas, have now been killed. IS-4 appears to now be distracted by someone else, and so now would be a good opportunity for me to shoot the IS-4, except I don't have shots on him at the minute. I've been spotted, and hello Mr. IS-4. How'd you like them apples? I even set him on fire, but he kills our Jagdtiger. Our base is still being capped. If our E-50M can be an utter hero and reset the base, that would be awesome. Our artillery's telling us, by the way, that he can't hit the E-75 in the enemy base. E-50 gets the reset off like an utter hero. IS-4's looking at me. I managed to put a shot into the IS-4 and he shoots me with high explosive. If he'd have shot good old-fashioned armor piercing, I'd have been dead. But he didn't. He used HE, so I'm alive. I don't know why he loaded that, but never mind. Sprocket kills one of the enemy artillery. And now it's 4 plays 4. This is rather tight. They have the tank tier advantage, but they have had that for a while. There's the IS-4 in question. And so now we effectively have an elaborate game of chicken. If the IS-4's dumb enough to come round the corner... No, he's not quite that stupid. Or if he's dumb enough to fire at someone else... Oh, never mind. Our E-50M took out the IS-4. And so that means that now the scoreline is 4-2. We're actually winning. Sprocket is capping the enemy base, but alas, the enemy KV-4 manages to take him out. But well done to Sprocket. He racked up 3 kills and a fairly nice amount of damage. He did well. E-50M takes out the E-75, and that just leaves the KV-4 at the enemy base to deal with. So I haul this thing around and make a beeline for the enemy base. So our E-50M was an utter hero, managing to reset our base, keep us in the game, and kill the IS-4, who was in my vicinity. The M53 artillery managed to one-shot that Batchat. I haven't been keeping track of what else he's been doing, but one-shotting the Batchat was definitely useful in and of itself. Sprocket Man racked himself up 3 kills, including some artillery. So well played to him. This was just a nice game where a lot of the lower tier tanks, you know, including myself and Sprocket, actually had a really nice contribution to the game. You don't have to be a tier 10 in a tier 10 game to have a good game. So, here's the KV-4. He's on 808 health. E-50M puts a shot into him. And I manage to avenge Sprocket Man and pick up the last kill of the game. Apparently the cheaters win. Really? You see, from my perspective, that game wasn't about cheating or anything. It was about a couple of players. You know, the E-50 did a good job. Our tier 8 tank destroyers, I'm mainly thinking our platoon, made a good showing. I did a lot of damage. Sprocket Man picked up 3 kills and did a respectable amount of damage. Craig got a bit unlucky, but that's how things go. And that was a really fun game to play, especially as it was in a machine that I don't really like. So, take a look at the post-battle results, and then we'll move on to game number 3. Alright, so here's the third and final game of this video. We're dropping it down to tier 6 this time. We're in medium tank platoon rather than tank destroyers. And this time I'm platooned up with Johnny Dangerful. Again, you may remember his name from a couple of my other videos. So, he's jumped into his Fury, and I, therefore, jumped into the closest tank I have to that, the EZ-8 Sherman. A regular tier 6 American medium tank. And I honestly can't remember why I was sitting there so much. Anyway, so... Johnny, alas, is going to come a bit of a cropper in this game, and we also have a failed platoon on our team. Generally speaking, my opinion, if tanks are 1 tier different or matchmaking is 1 tier different, I don't have too much of a problem. I also often don't have too much of a problem if the lower tier tank is like artillery or something that can still pull its weight in a higher tier game. But in this case, it's a tier 2 tank destroyer platooned up with a tier 4 tank destroyer, so that counts as definite fail platooning in my books, and not particularly amused. Now, usually on this map, I move up to the position where you can see a lot of our tank destroyers go to at G5, and if you've seen me play this map before, you'll be familiar with that. Unless I'm in a heavy tank, and then I'll often plough down like E0. But Johnny suggested we take this flank. I've never really done this before, and I thought, yeah, sure, why the hell not? Sounds like a plan. And I'm playing it a bit cautiously because I've never done it before, so why is there artillery up there? Oh well, maybe he's kind of relatively new to the whole artillery thing. Well, he's dead now. I managed to put one damaging shot in, which is nice. Camping heavies, I may as well take a suicide pill now. So, here's the thing. If you see... Well, I don't know what he's talking about camping heavies. I really don't. We have 3 heavy tanks on our team. He is one of them. One of the others is an M6 who's over by us, and I don't actually know where our KV-1 is. So, and I wouldn't exactly call our M6 camping. He's still moving up this flank, so I don't really know what the Churchill's talking about. Anyway, Johnny seems more confident, but then he takes a big hit to the front. I'm guessing something like a Hellcat or a Nashorn. It looked like kind of an 88 90mm gun, you know, sort of 240 average damage kind of gun. So the other M4 is pushing further up this flank, and he takes another big hit. So yeah, there we go. There's definitely someone. There's a Nashorn up on the hill. So I'm going to start taking pot shots at this guy to try and dissuade him of his current actions. I loaded high explosive there because the Nashorn's armor's terrible, and go back to armor piercing. But I finished that Wolverine off with a round of HE. So kill number 1 for me. A20. There's one shot into him, and that shot was terrible. Managed to kill him, and there's another Nashorn over there. Not sure exactly where. Now, our M6 is actually still at H1. He does or doesn't do a lot of things in this game, which make me think that he's either not particularly good or possibly a new player or something like that. See if I can sneak a shot through on that T28. I can't, but Johnny polishes him off. And I missed the shot on the ARL there. ARL's going to wreck that Chaffee, I would imagine. We just lost our Churchill Mark 7. No, the Chaffee is still alive and the ARL is dead. Huh, sweet. Finished off by our artillery. So, I'm trying to be a little bit cautious here because I know there's a Nashorn still up on that hill somewhere. But Johnny's moved forward a bit, so I'm trying to move up to give him a hand. But again, being cautious. We know there's a Nashorn around here. There might be a Hellcat as well or something like that. They're often sat up on those hills. Oh, there's our KV-1. Okay, yeah, our KV-1 is camping like a little boss. Nashorn, oh, Johnny needs to find cover. The Nashorn looks like he's taking a bead on him. I'm trying to shoot the Nashorn, but there's a hillock in the way. Johnny puts a shot in. And, oh god, okay. Johnny was actually killed by a Matilda. So there's a Matilda around here as well as the Nashorn. I do, however, manage to avenge Johnny, well, sort of, by taking out our that Nashorn. However, there's a Hellcat in the vicinity as he puts a shot into me. I was going to let my tracks be repaired by the crew, but I think better of it. Use the repair kit, put them back on. I don't want to take another shot from that Hellcat. So, the Hellcat and the Matilda are both in this vicinity and neither of them have been spotted. The 88 is over on the other flank at H9. The VK3001H is up on the hill at C3, or was last spotted up on the hill at C3, and the artillery, well, we don't know exactly where he is, but can probably hazard a respectable guess. And 4 plays 4. No, we just lost our SU-85I. Sorry, 5 plays 5, and then that became 4 plays 5. This M6 is still on full health, and he's still being incredibly ineffective, which is a little bit frustrating. There's the Hellcat from earlier on. So, I've spotted him, and I'm going to plough some... No, he's taking a bead on me. Move, you plonker. I was loading high explosive here, thinking that I could do more damage with it, and looking back on it, that was an incredibly badly played engagement. Oh god, there's the VK over here as well. You know, I loaded HE and then I aimed for the tracks. I just seemed a bit confused. Oh, VK. Oh, there's the Hellcat. Okay. Put a shot into him with HE and use the HE round to finish him off. I'm all out of high explosive. So, there's this VK3001H. Let's see if we can polish him off. He looks to be distracted by the M6. There's one shot and one more shot to kill this guy, but our artillery does it for us. 3 plays 3. So the Matilda is now up on that hill at F3. He's now at least been spotted, so we know roughly where he is. I'm on less than 300 health, which is a bit annoying. This M6 still has a load of health left, and is still playing incredibly passively. There's cautious, and then there's cautious. Our KV-1 is complaining about Johnny. I'm not really sure why. Our KV-1 was sitting with the artillery. He was not a very good player, or he was new or something, or maybe he was just trying to farm damage. Either way, no, that counts as bad, I'm sorry. Whatever. He did not do us any real favours. So, I'm going forward to try and find this Matilda. The 88 has been spotted, and he is trying to hunt down our artillery, which is suboptimal. There's the Matilda in question, and screw this, there's one shot into him. Matilda only does 55 odd damage per shot, and although he has a good reload, I even bounce a shot from him. I should be able to take him out, as I did there. Sorry about that. And in doing so, avenge Johnny's death. 88 has killed our artillery, however, so it's myself and this M6. Oh dear, and hopefully by now we've judged how reliable an ally this guy is, versus the 88 and the artillery. Yeah, apparently the KV-1 in question was statistically a respectable player, but judging from what he actually did in the game, he sucks. I'm sorry. Stats, there are ways to pad stats, and if I judge that that's what he was doing, because what he did was a terrible idea, and was not in the team's best interests. So there we go. Anyway, the 88, by sitting in the capture circle, now I don't blame him for sitting in the capture circle, because he's incredibly slow and he's going to really struggle to hunt us down, especially on this sort of map. I don't pay too much attention to chat. Johnny was getting rather frustrated. So, this 88, I don't blame him for sitting in the capture circle, but the flip side is by doing so, he is announcing his position. 88 is also swinging around to shoot at me, and I was thinking about circling this guy to death, but oh god, he just put a shot into me, and now I am going to back the hell off, and I wasn't able to penetrate him. So, I switched to APCR, because, even with against the side armor, the armor piercing from this can bounce. All I need is bad RNG, and I'll bounce him. The armor piercing composite rigid is a much more reliable penetration. M6 does about the only useful thing he does all game, one of the few useful things, and forces the 88 out around the corner, where I can put a shot into his side and take him out for kill number 6. So there's a Top Gun. Now it's a case of hunting down the enemy artillery. Now this is not a foregone conclusion. The artillery could still bag this. I'm definitely a one-shot, and the M6 has bad enough side and rear armor that a lucky shot from the artillery could nail him as well, although it is lower tier artillery. It's only tier 4, but all the same. This match is not won yet. Just going to speed this up a tad, because running around looking for artillery can be a little time consuming and rather tedious. Checking out all of these places, trying to be a bit cautious, and then the artillery is spotted over here by the M6. So, can I get in flanking shots? Hopefully. 12 degrees of gun depression says hello. 1. Second shot will kill him. And there we go, kill number 7. And that felt good after some of the games we'd had. Now, alas, as I say, Johnny didn't have a stellar game. He got caught out a little bit, and was relying at the time on our M6 being a little bit more proactive than he was. Nonetheless, there we go. That was the game. I hope you enjoyed that trio of games that was kind of salvaging some fun from a terrible, terrible weekend. So I hope you enjoyed them. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.